Now, we will... Fortunes. Okay, so, Barbarian. Blow for blow is the unique mechanic. This increases your max stamina, increases your target priority a bit. This is actually good for my character at the my class. Mors. This is good for my build at the moment, on account of I do have sustenances and I, mainly punch things. The downsides of this one is greatly I can't speak. Greatly decreases maximum FP, greatly decreases equip load, which isn't that bad. I can just that this will allow me to take off the helmet. Um, and then increases status effect damage taken. That's the only bad one, mainly on account of if you're fighting something that does bleed, you can get bled faster. The unique part to this is the blow for blow mechanic. So that slightly restores HP when dealing melee attack damage. Um, you get more for stronger attacks, as it says. When taking damage, enormously increases HP restoration for a bit. So like if I get hit and then I start beating the shit out of something, um, I will just gain more health. And then when I'm vulnerable to counter damage, I gain more poise. So like that, I think that's after I swing, right? I gain more poise and I nullify most of the counter damage received, which is actually really good for trades. And then it decreases the amount of counter, or wait, decrease the counter damage of slashing attacks. Is that for me? I think that might be for me. Yeah, I think. Yeah, this one's really good for me. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I know, that's just what I read already. Yeah, I'm not gonna consume that though. I need to read the other ones. So the dancer one, yeah, this is the one I have on the other character I've been doing boss rushes with. So this one decreases FP cost of skills. It's actually not really noticeable, which is the unfortunate part. um, Slightly decreases stamina consumption of attacks, which that one is really good. This vastly decreases your max FP though, but it also greatly decreases blocking effectiveness of shields because this is meant for weapon English weapon blocking. This is meant for weapon block, so like deflex as normal. The unique part, when performing a deflect, restores a small amount of stamina, which is actually really good. And when performing successive perfect deflects, greatly increases attack power. As I've said last video, it does require 5. So, at least from what I've experienced, it requires you to get 5 in a row. And then regular deflects and weapon attacks extend the duration after it. So if you constantly start attacking after getting the buff, you won't lose the buffer a bit. But it also does slightly decrease the attack power of non-buffed attacks. So that's like the only downside. You're meant to get 5 deflects, or 5 perfect deflects beforehand, and then start attacking. But not everything even gives you enough attacks for you to do that. But, yeah. So that one's fun. I'm not getting that one. Spell Sword. So this one is a weird... It's when, just weapon caster. So you have an offhand catalyst. This one greatly increases mind and increases cast speed. Decreases health well, I really can't speak today. This is funny. It vastly decreases HP restoration from non-flash sources, so like the healing spells won't heal as much, unfortunately. And then slightly decreases status buildup. Or increases status buildup. And then the special part of this, casting spells greatly increases melee attack power, and casting spells reduces the FP cost of skills. But in turn, landing melee attacks greatly increases spell attack power, and landing melee attacks slightly reduces the FP cost of spells. So, it's imperative that you use both in succession. And like, what is it, like, you attack with a heavy weapon and then like carry and straight sword. Or carry and slicer, yeah, that. You use carry and slicer a bit, and then you go back to like attacking. Something like that. Like a combo. Basically combos. And then those effects, yeah, the effects begin to, expire and you land a attack of one or the other. And then generator spells do not build or consume these effects. So, let me explain generator spells. because I don't have any right now. So like catch flame, right? So instead of using FP, I mean it still uses the FP, but it gives you FP for landing the attack. Like 3 times the amount that one spell uses, it will give you back. But also this also has the same effect. The other thing is decreasing and boosted attacks. Now, the Sentinel one. I'm pretty sure these 3 are also gotten from like bosses or something. I really don't know where to get those. But the Sentinel one. So this is for like a tank build. So increases max equip load, increases elemental defense, slightly increases incantation attack power, and increases poise slightly. Decreases your arcane and stamina recovery. Turtle Talisman will come in clutch with this one because probably negate that. The arcane part isn't really needed, like at all. um, so you won't really lose much from that. But this allows you to essentially be a like paladin type build. So like, you know, you've healed, you have big armor, giant shield, a mace, or a Zweihander. You know, the assault the assault faith person. Yeah, increases guarding effectiveness when wielding a shield, so that's cool. Blocking attacks and taking damage slightly restores FP, so that way you can heal. And then while under half health, you get slight HP regen. You get increased cast speed for a bit, and then it decreases FP cost of incantations. And then the only downside is, decreased movement speed while in combat. Which isn't that bad if you're a tank build. Like, tank builds are cool. At least when it comes to this mod. No, base game, it's just cringe, honestly. So that's all the strength ones. The faith ones. I've already shown this one. Don't need to show it again. This one, the Sage. So, yeah, so it increases your max FP, increases your memory slots, increases the FP cost of skills and consumables. So this one's just meant for like only using spells. Slightly decreases vigor, slightly decreases physical damage negation. But then the other things increases natural FP regen gained from when casting a spell. This effect increases for spells that use more memory slots. So that's cool. Grants natural stamina regen when casting a spell. So like, instead of your stamina just being stagnant, I'm pretty sure I used that word right. While you're casting and just keeps decreasing, you'll actually gain back stamina as you're spell casting. So that's cool. That's actually really useful. And then slightly increases damage of aberrant magma, death, and night sorceries. So anything that isn't normal. Anything that isn't Karia. So yeah, we're Carian. I don't know why I said Karia. Anything that isn't a Carian sorcery. So everything else. And then decreases physical attack power of weapons. So this is meant for literally just spells, but like the dark spells. Sorcerer. So, I'm pretty sure this is essentially the same thing, but for the Carian sorcerers. But, yeah, so, decreases FP of sorceries, slightly increases memory slots, decreases poise, and slightly decreases maximum stamina. That's not too bad. Like, you don't really need poise as a spellcaster. Casting a sorcery grants these stacking effects. I don't know why I read that word for word. Briefly, slightly, really? Briefly, slightly increases cast speed, and then briefly decreases FP cost sorceries. And then when you cast 9 in succession, which isn't hard if you're just spamming, greatly increases spell damage for the next sorcery and generator spells. I really can't speak today. Generator spells do not consume this effect. So, like, if you build up 9, and then use a generator spell if you're low on mana, it won't consume that 10th spell slot, like the 10th spell cast, and it'll give you back stamina. And essentially, if you felt like it, you could like do that stupid casting glitch, and do that. But why would you? And then greatly decreases the buff of the duration of buffs. I'm Am I dyslexic? I might be dyslexic. At least like word dyslexic, not like letter dyslexic. And then the cleric one. This is for faith. So increases mass HP, increases memory slots, slightly decreases FP cost of incantations, decreases your maximum stamina, increases FP cost of skills and sorceries. So that one's cool. And then increases FP and I don't know why I got FP first. HP and FP restoration flask for self and nearby allies. So like whenever either you or a friend heals. When casting healing incants, grants increased movement speed for self and allies. And then when support incantations are cast, grants brief damage absorption bubble for self and allies. Oh, that's cool. You get the bubble for free. Good. Decreases all weapon attack power. So this is literally just for a support build. So yeah, down support build. And then the last couple, these four. So assassin. This one's actually really fun. So increases stamina recovery speed, slightly decreases target priority. So that would cancel out my armor. Greatly decreases FP restoration from flask, increases status effect buildup taken. The best part about this is its, unique mechanics, what weakness. Vastly increases poise attack damage of throwing knife items. That's not bad, but that's also very funny. Because you can just throw a bunch of Kurkuris at someone and stance break them that way. And then increases poise attack damage when wielding light weapons. Successive attacks further increase poise damage. This one's actually really good for me on account of, I'm using 2 cestises, so I can just keep punching the shit out of something. So not bad. And then when dealing crit damage, vastly restores stamina, slightly restores HP and FP. And then the downside is slightly decreases maximum HP and physical defense. As long as I perfect deflect, I should be able to negate the physical defense part, because like perfect deflecting isn't hard, you just need to know the movesets and actually know when to block. And then the other part, HP, same deal. Like you're not gonna take much damage if you know when to perfect block. So yeah. But yeah, using this, I might go with this one rather than going with blow for blow. Like blow for blow seems cool, but this one would fit me too. I'm not gonna pick yet though. The ranger one literally is just both. Not that big a deal. Increases auto recovery, increases the duration of buffs, slightly decreases status effect buildup, decreases HP and FP, restores from flasks, which is the shit part of this. This one, unique mechanic. Increases movement speed and projectile range while wielding bows. Letting attacks with weapons and bows greatly decreases the stamina consumption and success of attacks. This effect is increased for stronger attacks and stacks. Greatly decreases poise attack power. Huh. That's actually useful too. I don't want to pick that though. We're not a bow user. Apothecary one. So increases arcane, decreases FP cost of consumables, slightly increases stamina consumption of attacks, and slightly decreases effectiveness while blocking. And then increases projectile range when wielding crossbows, landing attacks with weapons, crossbows, elemental stone items, and reusable tools. Builds a buff that vastly increases the damage of the next pot of aromatic. Pot or aromatic. This effect can be stored up to 3 times. And then increases FP cost. Increase FP cost of skill, sorceries, and incantations. So this is meant for using throwing items, like just being pot man. And then the heretic one. Increases arcane, slightly increases memory slots, decreases vigor, and decreases status resistance. I really cannot speak today. This is fucking hilarious. In the presence of any status effect, slightly increases spell damage, slightly decreases FP cost of spells, slightly increases stamina recovery, can't speak. And this effect is applied separately for each of the status effects. So like, if the poison, rot, and bleed, and frostbite happen, that's 4 stacks. I think. While under 3 or more effects, grants slight HP and FP regen, and then decreases runes gained. That is the worst thing ever. Because you need the runes to fucking level up. Can't level up if you don't get enough runes. So that's a no. And then, yeah, that's all that. So my decision is between Barbarian, which healing when doing successive attacks, when taking damage HP regen, or well, not HP regen, but more HP increase, like when you restore, greatly increases poise. Yeah, yeah, we might go, we might go with assassin. Yeah, we're going with assassin. I actually do increase. I do like this one. Assassin it is. Gotta equip it. Let's go.